to Foster Me Pink. So let's talk home study a little bit. Let's dig right in. My name is Tammy, and I'm a single, hopeful, adoptive parent. I am currently in the adoption process, and it has been quite a journey. So I wanted to talk to you a little bit about home studies. If you've been doing your research and looking into adoption, then you know this is where it all starts. This is the first place that you're supposed to go. But what I wanted to talk about is that they kind of put it out there like it's like getting something easy, or it's like an easy first step, and that it's not intertwined with your second decisions about the other decisions, like what agency you use, and all of that, because it's really super intertwined. And unless you have endless resources, you really have to put a lot of thought into what that looks like. So, to be clear, the home study is there's a case manager that checks your home to ensure it is a viable and suitable space to bring in a baby. And they want to know everything about you. Everything. Okay. So they schedule about 3 visits with you. 2 of them are with you, most likely in your home, but they can be elsewhere. And at minimum, one of them is checking out your home. So they do quite a bit of research on crime reports for your area, schools, and other pertinent information to raising a child. So they just really want to capture the best possible glimpse of what does this home look like and who is this person that wants this baby. So it's really pretty comprehensive. But again, it's the place where you start. So I found myself asking, well, I could just call one of them. And when I called around, I was able to like really price shop. So I found that some of them were like lower, but then I had to really think about, well, how do I want to use this home study? So had I gone with an independent, which I didn't do, I actually went with an agency. But when I went with an independent, I wouldn't have been able to use that if I had decided to go with an agency. I might have to do another home study, and I don't have the extra to do that. I didn't want to do that. So you really need to think about how you want to use your home study in order to do it. So my first meeting with my case manager, we had it back in my backyard on the deck. It was actually a beautiful morning around 10 a.m. And it took about an hour and a half, almost 2. But it was good conversation, and I thought it was rather in depth. Tell me about your mom, tell me about your brother, tell me this or that. And that was fine. So then I went to my second interview, and my second interview was about 3 hours. And that is because we covered everything from birth to now. Like, it was the most in depth discussion on me that I've had. I don't think I realized that I don't actually talk about myself that much. Not like that. Like, literally telling everything. It was just mind blowing. But it went well. And after that, my third visit with her was an inspection of my home. So we did that. So when you do your home study, there's typically an application fee. So you might have to pay an application fee just to kind of get started in that process. And then they send you paperwork. So my agency that I decided to go with for my home study, because I'll also be working with them for domestic infant adoption, my agency sent me packet number 1. Baby, I filled out that packet number 1 in no time. I thought I was doing something. I was like, Oh, won't he do it? Look how fast that went. This is meant to be. Look at the signs. I got that paperwork done in no time. So, it had been a long time since I'd done a home study. So, I'd done one 5 years prior when I had an adoption that didn't work out. So, kind of forgot all that they needed from me. So then I went through, submitted packet number one, which made me eligible for, an appointment for her to come and meet me and all that kind of stuff because she had something to work with. And it was quite a bit of paperwork. I just didn't know what was going to happen when they delivered to me packet number two. I almost shut the laptop down and said, Lord, is this really what you want from me? Um, it was so in depth. And then with Corona, oh, it did not get any better. So I had to run a lot of errands. You got to do your fingerprints, background checks. You have to get crazy documents about how many calls from to 911 have come from your residents. Um, and I don't have any, but I still had to get something in writing that said that you didn't have any, and that had to have been, submitted on the website and then wait on U.S. mail to get it, and ooh, it was extra. And then I think the worst part was trying to get a physical exam. So let me tell you about that. So the physical is a standard physical, but obviously in COVID, we're not doing anything standard right now, right? So it wasn't, they weren't allowing me to make an appointment. So I kept asking, I called my doctors. So I said, it's all right. It just said physical, that's all right. I could get that from someplace else. So I called around, and I found this like urgent care kind of office. And so, and I don't know if it was actually urgent care. I don't know the name of it, but it was one of those offices that does physicals. They do DOTs, they do things like that. All right. So I went there and they were like, oh, I can help you. I was like, oh, goodness, great. All right. So, tell me how much it is. And they're like, well, first, let me tell you, it will be private pay. I'm sorry. I have insurance. But they don't accept that for this. All right, so it was $125 for the physical. It was $150 for my paperwork. So let me remind you that while I am in the adoption process, I am simultaneously trying to at least get licensed for foster care. So maybe I can do respite or something like that. I'm not ready to do foster care until I finish the adoption, but I just want to be in the system and be able to help and support somehow, do weekends, something like that. So I have two medical forms, so $150 for each medical form. And then I have to have a TB test. And the TB test was $125. No, ma'am. It wasn't going to happen. So I had to really be patient, and I ended up calling my regular doctor's office back. And I got on the phone with the nurse, and I poured some sugar and some syrup and whatever else sweet I had into that conversation to get her to say, you know what, let me get you in. I mean, really, thank you. So I got it. So all went well. I was able to finally submit that last piece and got that in. So I was really happy about it. So what kind of documents do they ask for when you are doing it? So I'll list a whole bunch of them here, but there's birth certificates, marriage certificates, divorce decrees. You need copies of all of that. You also need copies of your insurance, your renter's insurance if you have that, or your mortgage or your lease. It's a whole ton of paperwork that you need to pull together. In addition to that, at my agency, they required 10 hours of adoption education. Now, mind you, it was good stuff. Really, some of it you probably read just as you've been doing your own adoption research, but they required certificates that said that you had 10 hours of education in anything from transracial adoption to attachment to what it's like when you bring the baby home, all of that. All in all, the home study process is really a warm up. And you kind of come out of it like ready to go because it was such a big deal to like get done. But it's like, ooh, home study, home study, home study done, and wait. So now I just wait. So we're putting our profile book together and working with the adoption coordinators on that and looking like we are ready to go very soon. Not today, but very soon. So, adoption, home study, it's good stuff. Very happy to have been on that road. But let me know what questions you have about home studies, any of the paperwork, or anything about the process. And if you got anything from this video, even if you were just entertained, please please click subscribe and hit the notification bell so that you know when I do a new video. Bye for now.